Hey y'all, welcome back to the Mommy First podcast.
Where you're a mother first.
And a baddie immediately after.
It's your girl Danny the Icon.
It's your typical competitive person, typical Tana.
And it's your laid back. No, I'm playing. No, and it's your girl Lila.
Ooh, did you see her? I think I wanna meet her. I love a big group, a divine fine creature. Everybody in the clique, got that aura and I need the face card never decline. Shorty favorite shanty.
So what's going on, y'all?
Girl, nothing. Just chilling.
Just chilling?
Yeah.
Just chilling?
You got the motherhood
chilling.
topic.
Who, me?
You?
So how do I explain that? Just chilling and kind of just
How's your mama?
trying to
That was so nice.
still trying to get her to go to therapy.
Okay.
She said she's going though.
Okay.
Really?
She said she's going.
Okay, that's a
She's
step.
Yes.
She's not going the professional route. She's gonna do she's gonna go to a pastor or something.
I mean,
Oh,
it's a
okay.
start.
So
Start.
Somebody.
Start. Right.
yeah. So yeah, that's a start. But that kind of brings us to our motherhood topic.
Yeah.
So I was watching a video, and I actually don't even know the name of the show, but I know it included Taraji, Tyler Perry.
You keep on saying Taraji.
I mean, not Taraji. Girl, I don't know why Taraji.
They do look alike a little bit.
Nia Long, Tyler Perry, Ayanna Van Zant.
That's what you say. I don't know her name.
I think that's how you say it.
Ayanna Van Zant.
Van Zant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, something like it. So it has her, and they were basically talking to a teen and a mother. The teen, she pretty much had to grow up fast. Her mom had gone through a lot of issues with men, physical abuse, verbal abuse, all that kind of stuff. And the daughter, she pretty much saw her mom as weak, because she continued to, deal with these men and let all of these men just do all of these things to her. And she, it was pretty much a video about, forgiveness, with that, and getting her to kind of accept the fact that her mom did the best that she could, because parenting doesn't come with a handbook.
No, it does not.
You literally have your child and you have to do what you got to do for your child. And that's pretty much what that mom did. But it just had me thinking, because there's been times where I never really saw my mom as weak. I saw her as strong, because I'm you going through all of this stuff, and you raising us at the same time, you still going. But then when it comes to being a mom, myself personally, I'm the stuff that I let happen and the stuff that I choose to go through.
Yeah.
I wonder if my son would say that I'm weak.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I really kind of struggle with that, watching that, because like I said, I was that teen. At first, but then now I'm kind of I wonder if my son would think that I'm weak.
Yeah.
Because I've gone through all of this stuff with, his father, and, I don't have the best, my choice in men isn't the best. You know what I mean? I don't have the best track record.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to picking guys and stuff like that. But I don't know. I just feel like, I just wonder if he would think that I was weak.
I struggle with what my son's gonna think about me a lot.
Yeah.
Because kind of coming to the, I guess, acceptance, kind of I was talking about a little bit in the last episode, how maybe they kind of play both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, my son would be possibly considered like a break baby. And, you know, there's like a negative connotation to a break baby because when me and him broke up, we went back to the baby mama. So it's kind of like they were like on a break, a 2-year break, but a break.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I always wonder how my son would feel, especially if his dad ends up back with his other baby mom. Like, why didn't he want to be with us? Like, why do my brothers get to have my dad full time, but then I don't get my dad full time, and I'm scared that he's gonna blame me for that.
Yeah.
So that's something that I always struggle and constantly think about, like, how would he feel? And I try to, like I said, like I was telling y'all off camera, that I try to find ways to fill that void for him, so he doesn't ever have to feel that way.
And that's me too. So when I seen that video, it made me cry because it reminds me of my relationship with my mom. I'm like you. When I was growing up, I didn't see my mom as weak. She was a single mom who had a great support system that helped her during all the struggles of being a single mom. However, when I started getting older and trying to find myself and, you know, go through that phase, having that outlet or having that guidance or having whatever was kind of up in the air in that instance. And I guess a part of me is kind of mad at my mom when I, you know, really think about it, is why didn't she have that conversation or fight for my dad to be in my life? For me, as a little girl, I was a daddy's girl. And then I'm sure my mama was protecting me with that situation, but she didn't have that conversation with me. I just didn't know what the fuck was going on. I remember my daddy coming to Kentucky visiting at 4 years old and being dropped off of Indian Trail at a factory. And that's the last time I really felt like my dad was in my life. After that, it was kind of count on these hands how many times I seen him. And it was more so, my mama didn't orchestrate that or get that together. It's one of those, my grandparents called, or we just so happened to talk, and then they, you know, say, me come down, and then I would come down. And then years later, same type of thing. And then it got to a point where I had to be that person. I want to say 13, 14, 15, to have a relationship with my dad when it would have been easier for my mom to. And I'm glad, in a sense, my mom was, you know, where she had to be at that point, because it ended up where at 15, something happened with me and my dad where I saw his true colors. And that's when I started really connecting to my mom. But when I got older and started having conversations with her, she ended up telling me she was separated from my dad for 6 years, 7 years. And then that's when she divorced. And then she was also saying, like, she didn't want to deal with him in that sense. And so fast forward to now, when I'm dealing with my baby daddy, her advice is just cut him off. Why are you dealing with him? Why are you doing that? Not understanding, like, as that child, like, that's heavy stuff to deal with at a certain age. And so, and I don't even know I didn't know mental health at that age. I didn't know triggers. I didn't know childhood trauma. I didn't know none of that. I didn't know why my mama and daddy didn't work out. It's not like I wanted them to be together, but I wanted my dad in my life. I did have to realize, you know, he is a grown-ass person. That's why God made that situation where at that teenage time, I had to see it for what it was, and then, you know, have that type of journey with him to the point, like, I don't talk to him now as an adult, but I didn't really understand with my mom. So that added to all the multiple layers of our relationship. You know? And so I instantly felt that girl's pain, but I also felt what they were trying to do with that girl, because it does start with, you know, that forgiveness piece, which is very complicated to go down. Yeah. You can say I forgive somebody, but it's a constant process. So I felt me along what she said. I felt with that girl, like you can, like, what's her name? Ayana, you know how she came up? Ayana. Like she was at first, she was sitting down to the girl and was asking her, tell your mama what you want to tell her that you haven't been able to tell her. And when she did that, like the girl was kind of like, you could tell like she had a hard time saying it. So when Ayana came up to her and was like, you know, block out the audience, you need this moment to tell your mom. I felt that because it was like my moments of telling my mom how I felt, it was just me and her and nobody was there. So my mom, I still feel like my mama doesn't understand, you know. I love that for that girl to have some, like, people in her corner to kind of support, guide her through that. Because they also said, you know, you can recognize what your mama did, but also forgive your mama at that. And also they told her to affirm her strength. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was so, it touched me, y'all. It really did.
How would you have wanted that conversation to happen, and at what age for your mom to talk to you about why your dad wasn't in your life?
Probably the teenage age.
So you think she thinks she should have waited for that conversation for the teenage age? So like
when
fresh, like more 13 fresh, or like 15, 16?
I mean, I would say, like, with Emery now, like, it probably even younger. I can only base it off of my situation with Emery, because I didn't really have an age. I just started talking to Emery when she was Irie's age.
Able to understand.
And just constantly had that conversation with her in regards to me and my struggles, in regards to Grammy, everybody that, you know, is in her life, so that she doesn't take that in, you know, internally. And then get into situations where she's either blaming us or blaming us. I mean, blaming us or blaming herself. So I don't really know age, but I think because my family didn't talk about mental health, I didn't grow up, and I started realizing the real world, just being out in the world, my mind developed more maturely when it's like 13 and 14 in that instance. So if she really would have sat me down, or really when the conversation was right before my daddy showed his ass, she could have had that conversation, but she was more like I don't want to deal with it. At that point, I felt like there was an opportunity for her to deal with it. My mom was a runner. So it's like, I get how hard stuff goes, but I'm your child. You can't run from this. So.
And I'm asking for myself, because I kind of wonder at what point should I have that conversation with my son, because I wonder at what point he's going to realize, like I mentioned before, how serious I am about like things going on at daycare, how they have like the Father's Day thing. His dad didn't show up the first year, he didn't show up the second year, but I had like my mom's boyfriend and my brother-in-law show up. I wonder at what point does he kind of realize, I never want him to feel like that child that's like, my dad didn't show up for me. So I try to find, like I said, those replacements, but I kind of wonder at what point would he actually realize, like, dang, I don't have a dad like consistently in my life. I mean, hopefully when it gets to an age where he's realizing that his dad will be more involved, but in the case that he's not, I kind of wonder, like, how do I sit down and have the conversation with him? So I don't want him to get to the point where he's an adult and he's like, dad, I wish my mom would have talked to me about this, because I have this emptiness in me that I just don't understand. And it kind of like took, like I said, for you to get to 15 to finally realize it, but at that point, it's kind of, you're kind of old. You're 3 years up, you at the house. So it's kind of like having a little bit earlier, probably, like I said, would have benefited you. So I'm kind of like wondering, like, when should I have that talk with him? I'd like to figure it out.
Does he bring up his dad? Like, just doesn't say, I want to see my dad?
He doesn't. He doesn't bring up his dad. If we talk about his dad, it's like I'm bringing his dad up. He doesn't talk about him, doesn't bring him up, doesn't ask to go see him. I mean, if I say, like, you want to go to your dad's house, he might say, yeah, I want to go. But it's not like he's asking, like, can I go to my dad's house? Or, you know, or if I bring it up, like, you go see your dad's this weekend, he'll start asking, like, when am I going to dad's house? When am I going to da-da-da-da? but it's not like he's like openly asking to see his dad or talk to his dad.
But when you ask, do you want to go see your dad? He says yes. You can have a not conversation, but you can also ask him, do you like going over your dad's? And see how his response to that. Because that could open up a conversation with your son in that aspect, just to check in on how he's feeling at his young age. Okay. Because that's what I do with Irie all the time. And my baby daddy be like, a baby in him, or this or that. But I want him to have the mental and emotional capacity to know certain things is not your fault. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And then also to be patient in this process with other people, because you live in this world with other people, clearly, you know? So, you know.
And that's hard because I'm actually on the other end where I have a son that sometimes asks for his father, but when it's time to go with his daddy, he don't want to go. And then, like, there's even been times where, you know, he's called and he's like, why are you calling us, Kenny? Like, why are you... Like, that's what he'll say. Like, he'll answer the phone. He's like, why are you calling us, Kenny? And I'm just like, you know, like, his dad, you know, wants me to get on him, you know, and I do. But then I'm kind of like...
Get on him for what? For what again?
For... I guess answering the phone that way, because he sees it as disrespectful, and I can see where that's disrespectful. So I do get on. But like, that's not how you talk to your father. Yeah,
but he's saying in his own words.
It's also a thing of I can't really get on him because you're showing him that. You're showing him that. Yeah. Like,
well, you still got
that relationship.
Yeah. Like, that's mom, you want to be that safe space where he can be himself and speak how he wants to speak, but I feel like he's going to get reprimanded for
Right. Because I'm like, that's what you're showing him. Like, you, not only does he pick up my energy, you know, and how I feel and stuff like that, but the type of relationship that you have created or haven't created with him is starting to rub off, and he's starting to understand, like,
so okay, why do you see it as wrong again? Because it's disrespectful?
I mean, I can see it as a form of disrespect. I try to see it from both sides, but I try not to be biased. Right. I try to see it from both sides. Like, I do see it as, you know, disrespectful because for one, he's calling him. He's not saying, why are you calling us daddy? He's like, why are you calling us Kenny? Yeah. You know what I mean? He's calling them by his name. Regardless of the type of relationship that I have with my mom or my father, I've never called them by their first name.
I call my mama by her first name. Much. So, find her in the store.
I'm just like, okay. I do that with my mama sometimes. Yeah. If I'm talking to them, you know, face to face or over the phone, like I've never called them by their name. Well, can't call my daddy that now; he's deceased. But you know, like I've never called them that by their name. So I do understand the disrespectful side.
Well, okay, so as that kid, do whatever age, you know, 5 years old. 10, whatever it is there a level of respect for the kids? I say that. Yeah. I say that. And it might be off the wall, but it's like in, I don't know, isn't it? It doesn't. If someone you love or your role model or whatever, your parents actually, your mom and your dad. Because I have abandonment issues, your mom and your dad leave you or doing weird stuff. Yeah. Isn't that disrespectful to us?
It is.
It's kind of like the situation that be going on where people are saying how men are like, they're like, why don't you call your kid? My kid ain't calling me. Kind of situation kind of thing. Because it's kind of like, why would you expect your child to show you a certain level of respect if you're not showing them a certain level of respect? I got you. I get you.
I mean, I get it, and I understand. But we're all black women. Culturally, we were taught that we always respect our elders, whoever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I automatically go to like the respect factor.
I don't know.
It's never because, but now I get it, and I'm like, you know, being a mom, I'm like, I should show my son the same level of respect that I expect him to show me.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, especially older, they're stuck in their ways.
My mama just literally at Emory's, you know, at 13th, and we driving. She literally was like, "I'm traditional. I'm gonna always be traditional." And I mean, I did so good. That was true. I didn't go in that, but I can see
they're stuck in their ways.
Yeah.
And so, of course, you know, I'm gonna be like, "Oh, that's disrespectful." You know, calling your dad by his name, or even, you know, approaching him like that when you answer the phone. Why are you calling us skinny? You know what I mean? It could have been like, "Hey, Dad, like, I don't want to talk right now." You know, something like that.
Did you have that conversation with him? I think it's all about having a conversation.
Yeah.
Figuring out, like, so if my son ever does something that an older person might think is disrespectful, I don't automatically get on him like, "Don't do that." I might say, "Well, why did you feel that way? Why'd you do that?" Kind of thing. And I kind of explain to him, but that wasn't nice because this. But I also explain to the other person's like, I mean, you gotta understand. This is what you're giving him. This is what he's giving back.
Right.
I would definitely try to guide him to be more respectful, but you also gotta give him that same respect and understand where he's coming from.
Exactly. And I have said that to Kenny, and I've also talked to Kendrick, and I'm like, you know, asking him why he feels like that. He's like, what did he say? He's like, "Because I don't want to talk to him." And I'm like, okay, that's okay.
That's okay. I feel that way.
That's
There's
okay.
another way to go about it.
Right. But that's not what you wouldn't. That's not how you answer the phone. That's not what you say.
I'm just picking your baby daddy's brain right now, because I like to see the future. But having that conversation with your son, and then he learns to do that. I don't want to talk right now. Would your baby daddy feel some type of way if that was the next route? Because some people find that disrespectful as well.
Right.
You should.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
if he did, how would you respond?
Because if he did,
if your baby daddy did find that disrespectful,
then I would say that that's disrespectful because you have no regard for his feelings.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how I feel, because like I've even been there. Like I've talked to him and I'm like, I don't want to talk right now, but you know, he continue with conversation and I'm like, I don't want to talk. Or if I get, you know, riled up or start yelling, then it's like, why are you yelling? Because I told you I don't want to talk.
Yeah.
And you keep on making me talk. And so now you have no respect for the way that I'm feeling. So one or two things is going to happen. You're going to get cussed out. I'm going to hang up. One of the two.
So what in the back of your head is telling you, I hope my son doesn't find me weak or see this?
Real quick though, I was gonna say, don't get fully off of it, because I'm that kid that might talk I'm that kid as an adult that might talk a little disrespectfully. Because even seeing how Kenny answers the phone, I get it. Because if my daddy called me and he keep calling me and I want to talk to him, I answer kind of disrespectfully. And I kind of talk to me and my dad have a now, so I talk kind of crazy to him sometimes. And I've had times where my mom was kind of like, "You don't need to talk to your daddy like that. Like, why are you talking to him like that?" And it frustrates me that I'm like, after all he's done, you really think I'm gonna be happy to talk to him? Or another part of me and her get into earlier was that we have to do his medicine every Sunday. I did it last week. It's my mom's having back pain, so she was mad at me that I wasn't volunteering to go take it today. Cause my sister's out of town, and it's kind of like I feel for you, but it's kind of like y'all asked me to do a lot for somebody who I don't even want to deal with it at all.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I wish they had that respect for me and gave me that space to understand why I react like that.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of issues that it's just the disrespect kind of comes because it's just like from all the years of my childhood, it's kind of like I don't want to talk to him because I don't want to be doing for him at all. Yeah. So it's kind of like y'all kind of forced me to do it.
Yeah. Because I was told the fact that I don't talk to my daddy at all. Mm-hmm. I found disrespect when I got in my 2016, my grandpa died, my apartment got caught on fire, and I was in a group trip to go to AGP. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I was so like overwhelmed. I called my daddy for help pretty much for the first time. Mm-hmm. And I call him and I'm like, can you help me with this AGP because I have a group of young ladies, whatever. He's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And at that time in my head, I'm like, this is a start where I can start talking to him about relocating to Georgia. Mm-hmm. So when it got 2 days before us leaving the AGP, I'm like, I haven't heard from my daddy, whatever. And I contact him, I text him, whatever I did, and I asked him, what's going on with the arrangements. He's like, oh, well, like come up with an excuse. Mm-hmm. To me, I'm like, how I view my daddy is, he talk a lot of game, but he don't walk the walk. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you ain't got to talk a lot of game to your daughter who's always just wanted you to be in her life and be real. Mm-hmm. He tries to, feeling that, I guess, that gap of I'm going to do this. I'm making promises he can't keep, basically. And so I finally let him know how I felt. Actually, I let him know how I felt, my brother feels, my half-brother feels, and my half-sister felt at that time, which pissed him off. So I'm like, okay, you're valid to feel this way, whatever. If you feel disrespect, whatever it is. But I still continue to be like, Happy Father's Day. Yeah. How are you doing? Okay, fast forward to July of that year, I go on Facebook. This nigga had a whole wedding that I wasn't invited to. Mm-hmm. What do I mean to you? Mm-hmm. Right. What do my siblings mean to you? If the most important thing in your life is this wedding and we're not invited to share that, why am I even trying to have a relationship with you? So I cut him off. Since 2016, I cut him off. Mm-hmm. And so someone told me, well, that's disrespectful to cut him off because he's still the sperm, like the one who gave you life. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I think our generation, we the one that we gonna cut anybody off who's impacting our peace, and people don't really understand that. Right. So I think sometimes we kind of have that little 1 foot in a little bit. Like I know I have my 1 foot in for even answer the phone for my daddy when he called. It's mainly for him to talk to my son, but it's kind of like what I'm saying. I wish I could just be like cutting it off and completely. Yeah. But I think could we have that in the back of our mind, like it's disrespectful. He's still your father. She's still your mother. You still have to have some level of respect, but it's kind of like.
I mean, like y'all was saying, it comes a time where you have to put your piece at a certain thing. Like being a bigger person, you put your piece. For me, when I did that, a whole weight off my shoulder in that instance happened. Yeah, returning back to my question of the back of your head, what is it that you like? What's that voice, or what's filtering in your head to make you entertain the thought of, I hope I don't appear weak to my son. I hope I don't appear this to my son. Hope I'm not letting him down.
Because, I guess because there's a lot of times, if I'm being transparent, there's a lot of times where I let his father take me to that level. Mm-hmm. That I know I shouldn't let him take me. Yeah. And instead of just putting my foot down and, having, and thinking about my personal peace. Mm-hmm. Because like I told you, I'm like, how can I tell somebody else and I ain't doing the same thing?
Yeah.
But you know, thinking about my peace and my sanity, and the sanity and the peace of my child, it's like I continue to let him, you know, take me to that place.
Yeah.
I start to become that person that I don't want to be.
Right. Right.
And then he brings out certain reactions
Mm-hmm.
that I don't want my son to see.
Yeah.
And so I'm like,
Yeah.
I wonder if he thinks that, you know, I'm weak.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the balls to, you know, stand up and say, you're disturbing my peace.
Yeah.
To cut this off. But
Can we get some tissue?
But really all I'm doing is trying to maintain for the sake of my child.
Yeah.
So that he doesn't
So that he doesn't
feel
you might have tissue in your bag.
So that he so that he doesn't blame me.
Yeah.
You know.
But that's the crazy thing.
For not having that relationship,
yeah,
you know, with his father or anything like that. Because I don't, you know, a lot of people, Kenny said today, he was like, thank you. Kenny said today, he's like, you know, because Kendrick is the type of child that if he don't want to deal with you right then and there, he's not going to deal with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
that's Ari.
He does it. He does it with a lot of. He does it with a lot of people, but because I don't, you know, vocalize it and tell people that, they think that it's just them. So Kendrick would do that with, you know, Kenny's sister, and you know she would act. He said that, you know, she acts like, does she be talking about me? Like, does she be doing, you know, this? Does she be saying this? Like, why is he acting this way towards me? You know, stuff like that. You know, when she's around, and I'm like, no, I don't talk negatively about none of y'all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm like, that sucks because, you know, y'all thinking that about me.
Right.
And, you know, no way am I saying that I'm some angel or anything like that. But I'm not just going to talk about y'all, you know, to my child.
Right.
But it's to the point where he, you know, there's just days where he doesn't want to be bothered with certain people. He does that with my mom. He does that with my sister. He does it with me.
Yeah. Ari's completely the same. He don't want to be bothered. He don't want to be bothered. And I always had those comments of coming at me like, why is he doing this? And he needs to do this. And like he that's rude. Even with my boyfriend, sometimes Ari will, like, he'll be like, gimme or say something that comes off disrespectful. And there's a correction out of it when me personally, it goes over my head. I don't see it as disrespect or this and that. And so with my kids, they have one level of, I want them to be themselves. And the quote that I always follow is, the biggest challenge you'll ever have is being in a world that's constantly trying to change you. And so my whole thing is, if you're around people who don't want to take the time to get to know you, even as a kid or as an adult, no amount of blood, no amount of anybody, like that access is your precious. That access to you is precious and is powerful. I mean, I don't want to misguide nobody because I still believe in respect, but I also feel like people need to step back and be like, look, you live in a world of other people. We're not living in your world. You know what I'm saying? So I feel you when it's like, I know my child like this, and I give him that space. That's what pushes me to be like, look, you're going to have to accept my child for who he is, or you not having a relationship with my child.
And a lot of times it's like, I find strength in him. And I don't want that to come off wrong because, you know, I come from a spiritual background, so they're going like, you should find peace in the Lord. I understand that, and I do. He's like the center. I'm just saying, like,
he's your motivation.
like the level of unbotheredness
Exactly, girl. Yeah.
that my son has. Like, I strive to be that way.
Yeah.
But I know that I would probably never be that way just because I have such a big heart. So I know I would never be that way. But a lot of times I do strive because I'm like, oh, if only I was able to say what he just said.
Yeah.
If only I was able to, be the way that he's being towards these people. Like, I guess that's why it's so hard for me to, create those boundaries that I said, my therapist is trying to get me to do.
It's hard.
Because I just don't have that in me.
Yeah.
But sometimes I wish I did.
I will say the fact that you're a phenomenal woman and mother,
Thank you.
He's going to see that. Because my relationship with mama is not just what she didn't do with my dad. It's all these layers. So if you are having that relationship with your son, like y'all telling me our focus is being the best mom we can be, when he grows up, he's going to isolate. This is between me and my dad.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with my mom. You know what I'm saying? So I hope you find comfort in the fact that that's one less worry you ain't got to worry about.
That's not how I live by. That's what I have people tell me all the time. Like, just do the best you can do. He's going to realize who was there for him, who wasn't there for him as he gets older. And he's going to realize that you really are doing the best you can do and that you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
But just like that girl, she was a teen. And she hadn't realized that until she became a teen. That mom was doing the best
long.
the best that, she could do. So for he's 4 now. So for the next 9 years, it's like, if he ends up feeling that way,
that's an opportunity
it's
of
like,
growth, though.
Well, damn, like, I gotta keep going through this, him blaming me.
You might not have to, though.
Right.
If you constantly keep that channel of communication open.
Right.
From what I'm getting from the girl, she never had that communication open with her mom to even talk about it at all.
She never felt comfortable,
Yeah, so if you're giving him that level of comfort and that openness that he can come to you and talk to you, you're not going to have to, I don't think you would have to deal with that. Because as he's 4, 5, 6, 7, always to 13, 15, 18, he's going to be able to communicate with you and have that understanding.
Because I didn't have that.
That's
the difference.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what I've been trying to do, is have that open level of communication. Because I didn't have it either. Yeah. I didn't. Like, if we had an issue when we took it to my mom, she'd be like, go pray about it. Yeah. Like, we never talked about it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, I never had that issue with I never had that relationship with my mom. And then even with me talking to my mom, trying to figure out what was going on with my dad, it was always, oh, I don't want to talk about it, or, we divorced because he lied to me about his age. And I'm like, was that really a big deal?
That divorceable?
Right. Like, really? Like, is that it? Like, what else? Because I don't really see where that's a big issue. But, hey, I'm a kid. I don't know. Right. But at the time, I didn't see that as a big issue. Right. Because I'm like, okay, he's still grown. You grown. What is it? But
I think it's a level of compassion that we all need to give people, even when we don't understand it. And I guess that's what's going on with our parents. I guess they even though they're the ones who brought us in this world, Lord Jesus, it was hard for them. Or they don't have the skill sets to maneuver through certain. They don't have, the level of, let me care about these people because X, Y, and Z, or let me sacrifice. Yeah. Because I'm built to sacrifice, because that's hard for me too. Like trying to relate to people who might make excuses in a sense or dismiss or whatever, when I have to step away and really look like, okay, their journey is different from mine. I don't know what happened in their life. I try to think about that with my dad, but just all that other.
But at what point does sacrifice not appear weak? Because some people see sacrifice as being weak.
That's part two.
Right. Because if it's okay with y'all, since we're on the topic of like our relationship with our parents, specifically our relationship with our mom, we can kind of slide into
the hot topic.
Yeah, that's fine. And talk about mother-daughter relationships.
I mean, with me.
Did you want to close up that? Sacrifice topic? That's it. We can.
We want to save it for part 2.
Yeah, we can save it
to have a bigger space.
Yeah, we can save it.
Okay. Yeah.
But like, I know as far as like me and my mom, a lot of people assume. We're gonna use that word. A lot of people assume that we have a great relationship because I do a whole lot for my mother. And anytime they see my mother, they see me. So they think that we're kind of, joined at the hip. I was wondering who you were looking at. They assume that we're like joined at the hip, and somebody has said before, like, oh my gosh, I wish like me and my mom had the relationship that you and your mom had. And I'm like, baby girl, you don't know the type of relationship that me and my mom had. Like, we don't talk about anything. If I do one thing wrong, aside from the 90,000 things that I've done right, I do one thing wrong, my mom doesn't speak to me for months. I'm like, so we don't have this great relationship. And like I had said before in another episode, my mom is like a master manipulator. I don't know if there's any other Pisces in here.
Emery.
She's a Pisces. And so she kind of, she's kind of has that hard exterior and that soft interior. So she tries to appear hard. But with my mom, like, she has a whole lot of trauma. And because she doesn't deal with her trauma, it's like hard for us to approach her.
Yeah.
Because then she gets defensive. And it's like, y'all always want to blame stuff on me. And blah,
that's my
blah.
mama.
And I'm like, well, if you think about it, it stems from you. Not saying that you are the cause of it, but it stems from you. It's trickled down from you because you didn't heal from your trauma. And so, you're kind of instilling your trauma on us.
Yeah.
So, like, we don't have the greatest. Like, I don't really talk to my mom about certain things because I know how she's going to respond. Like, I had to tell her one time, I'm like, look, she asked me to find somebody. She was like, I need you to put your investigative, I need you
use
to
your skills, girl.
Investigative skills to work. And she was like, I need you to find this person. And I'm like, who is it? Why are you looking for this person?
Right.
And come to find out, it's like a guy she, used to date and talk to. And so I'm like, why are you even trying to talk to him? Like,
she's trying to spin the block.
Ain't you married and stuff like that and blah, blah. She's like, I mean, I'm not trying to get back with him. I'm just trying to see how he's doing. I'm concerned about him, blah, blah. And I'm like, so where's that energy when, when my ex calls me, because we're still really good friends. Like, there's nothing going on. We ain't doing nothing.
Right.
But we still good friends. But you see his name pop up on my screen and you're like, don't be going backwards. Why are you talking to him? Why he calling you? And I'm like,
yeah,
we still friends. Like, I'm still friends with all of my exes. Like, none of my relationships ended badly.
Do you think your mom competes with you?
So I don't think she competes with me. I do think there's some type of control that she wants to maintain over me. There's some type of I think there is a sense of jealousy.
I feel the same.
Or a hint.
I feel something in my mom
and
jealousy.
I think there's a hint of she don't like attachment. Mm-hmm. She doesn't want me to go off and be happy with anybody else. Because I remember one time I was talking to I had met a guy, and he was in school. He was in school to be a doctor. I was in school getting my education, like getting my degree in education. Yeah. And she was like, you said he's going to school to be a doctor. What he want with a teacher?
Damn.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's messed up.
Yeah. And
so with her, it's kind of
like
it's kind of like shade, and it's kind of like I'm not good enough, because then she'll say, "Oh, Lila, I keep on saying you need to get with Tyrese. He's single."
That's my family.
He's a fucking celebrity that you know I ain't gonna never see.
That's what I say. What? The single?
And
I mean, that's a little.
Tyrese.
She said you got it, girl. She said you got it.
Tyrese don't have no good track record either.
No, he don't.
So I'm like, come on now, like, for real. Like, this person was literally in my face, but because he was being a doctor, I wasn't good enough.
Have you and your mom ever talked about her relationship with her parents, and specifically her mom?
With her mom, she claims that they had a good relationship. She claims that. Well, I never told my mom no. I never. See, I always did for my mom, and I always. And I'm like,
that's a problem though.
Yeah.
Because that's not saying you always want to say yes.
Yes, exactly. Because I asked that because your mom sounds so similar to my mom, and my granny is still alive, and a part of that support system when my mom was a single person, was a parent, was my granny and my auntie. That means I got to witness a lot of stuff growing up with that relationship until like I started have to be in that relationship as an adult. And that's when I started really realizing that generational cycle where the way my granny is talking to me and talking to certain people, that's what my mama had to go through. And all she's doing is imitating what she got from my mama, with the fact that she's also a different personality. Because I told you my mom was a runner, and so it's a mixture of all of that. When it came to this topic of like mother and daughter, and specifically competition, my experience was like my granny. It was, how can I say? One day, I guess for Thanksgiving, I don't know what the fuck, we just got on the fact of me cooking a pound cake. It's the first time I don't cook, y'all. I do not cook. So I'm like, I'm going to cook a pound cake from scratch and this and that. So I followed the recipe, and everybody was like, this is so good, Tana, you did good. I was proud of myself, you know. Here come my granny.
One of them.
Well, you know what she did? She cooked her own pound cake. Why?
Right.
Why you taking away my moment that I never even, y'all didn't even teach me how to cook, and I had to dig it out the mud to cook on, and people complimenting me. What is this? What's going on? What's going on with this? And then to the point, she made her pound cake and it was dry. People didn't like it.
That's what she gets.
You know,
like, you ever found those moments with moms or grandmas where like people are complimenting you and they go out the way trying to humble you? Or they're trying to humble you?
Yes.
Or make it like trying to dim your light a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I feel like that's a part of my trauma. Yeah. And to the point where when I started learning the word narcissist, I'm like, I think my granny is. And really, what's weird is my mama's the one who used it towards my granny. And I'm like, you know what? It sounds familiar. Let me look into this, blah, blah, blah. My mama said it to me, but then eventually down the line, y'all know how y'all just seen me blow up. I used that. I said that to my granny.
Yeah.
Like with your story, my mama and my granny. And my auntie. And my auntie's like the closest one. But my family, they make slick comments.
Yeah.
And that just builds and that tears your spirit and everything. My reaction was the opposite. I got my voice.
Yep.
Now what?
Yeah.
Like, and now I'm entering this phase of like we were just saying, disrespect and blah, blah, blah. But y'all been disrespecting me with y'all slick comments and tearing me apart. And then when I get in the real world with other people, this is how I feel. I don't feel good enough. I don't feel pretty. I feel fat. I feel like my hair ain't shit. I feel all of this stuff. And then you see the people keeping up with the Joneses. And then it's just this constant cycle because now it came from home without them really knowing. So now my thing is I'm the opposite. I'm blowing up now. And I'm like, I don't know how to stop the blowing up part. So, with my granny, I was like, that was the first situation where I even thought about the competition part. Like, what the fuck was that?
I don't know what it is about black households or the relationship with black women in general in family settings where they always feel like they have to humble somebody or have to point out something negative. Like it used to be the joke that you come home from school, from college, and they always talk about, oh, you done gained some weight. Yeah. Like, they always find that little something, some kind of little dig to get at you. And it's like, always got to find something. It could be everybody's complimenting on your million things. Compliment on your pound cake. I mean, I could have a little more icing. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And I just don't know how we break that cycle. Especially, I mean, we have boys. I think it's definitely important with having little girls because, you know, women were a lot more emotional, we're a lot more in tune with different emotions, and I think certain things affect us more than a little boy. And you having a daughter could probably speak more personally from it, but like, how do we break that cycle so we don't end up like our mothers or have our daughters feel like they're competing with us or...
Yeah, I celebrate Emery in every moment that I can. I encourage her to talk to me. I encourage her to, you know, be proud of herself, to, you know, feel beautiful, even if she don't feel like doing her hair. You know, like I just celebrate her and give her that space. Now, my struggle with the mom and daughter is, okay, I have all this noise from my family who's saying I'm a bad parent and this and that, and I'm overstretching myself. And then when I get my outbursts, that's what, you know, or whatever, and I'm projecting that on my daughter, even though I'm providing her a space to be celebrated and loved and this and that, that's also coming in. You know what I'm saying? So I do feel like it is making sure you tell your child they are good enough when it's obvious and when it's not obvious. It's not awkward, you know. But there's all these other stuff that we also have to slow down and try to make sure that we have check-ins about. So,
and then how do you protect them from those people that made you feel away? Because like I said, your mother is still her grandmother.
I come at them.
Still her great grandmother.
Yeah, that's
I come at them. Like I teach Emery to respect.
Yeah.
Because this generation, they need to know what respect is. So it's almost like, baby, I'm willing to be, again, I don't encourage this, but I'm willing to be the bad guy. And disrespect or whatnot, so my daughter doesn't have to feel the need to do that.
Right. Because I did say that too. I was like, I don't care who you are. If I feel like you are being disrespectful to my child, I'm going to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
And if it means that you won't have anything to do with them, you won't see them again, then so be it.
Yeah.
But you're not going to disrespect my child.
Yeah. I'm learning, because before, I'm still working on myself, like you used to be saying. So, in the beginning, I instantly was mama bear to, you coming to my child. I'm going to speak up, but I'm doing this in front of my child. Mm-hmm. Now I'm learning to go behind the scenes and have that conversation with my mom, because now Emery being a teenager and those hormones coming up, she's being more disrespectful in that sense. So it doesn't, it's a slippery slope.
I didn't think about that.
But it's one of those things,
she's
like
imitate you.
And that's what she tells me. I got it from y'all. Yeah. I got it from basically me yelling, my mama yelling, my granny yelling. Yeah. I'm like, damn. So now it's with Irie, especially particular, even though it's different for boys. I'm like, if my mama's coming a certain way
it's
towards,
not so.
It's not. Yeah. Well then I'm like, okay, mama, I gotta be the role model, so I'm not gonna yell at you, but later we're gonna have a conversation.
Because I think I've done that in front of Kendrick. I didn't want to, but like I said, I let his dad take me to levels that I don't be wanting him to take me. And so that's times where I've been, yelling at him, cussing at him, and Kendrick might walk in the room. I try to walk away, but of course, he follows me because he's my little pup. But he'll, follow, and I'm just like, there's nowhere else in the house that I can go. Yeah. So I don't have a choice, but either continue yelling. If I'm really heated, I'm just gonna continue yelling, or hang up on you. And so sometimes I do wonder if he's like picking up some of this stuff from me.
It's us going through that journey, and we can't really think about. I had that hard time because I'm like, I don't want this to happen. I'm a very bigger picture type of person, but it's like I have to go through that process and just do the best that I can in that situation, because even though I'm telling y'all that's what I notice and that's what I apply, but that's not every single time, because it's so much and it's so hard, and sometimes you just authentically just release or whatnot. But eventually, we have those spaces with our kids that as long as we know we're gonna be there to guide them, even when they grown, I think it's fine in regards to all of this. So.
Right. There's a lot of trauma.
I know.
There's a lot more we can definitely talk about. Yeah. For sure.
But
I think you definitely need to spin the block on this topic. So there's a lot more that we should definitely discuss on that. Because everybody's going through that.
Great opportunity for our followers out there listening and watching. If y'all want to share y'all stories about any experiences that y'all, specifically the women out there with y'all's moms, or what y'all fear for y'all's daughters, or just kids in general, let us know, share it, let the world know, because we all are having that trauma that we trying to all unpack. And it's nice to have a space to get it off our chest like we doing here. And so we want y'all to come join us in the village and share. And we'll unpack together, y'all.
Absolutely. I would say just feel free to email us, mommyfreshpodcast@gmail.com. Go ahead and put that plug in now.
Right.
Then we go to the mommy moment. So we ain't got to worry about it at the end.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and get into this mommy moment. Miss Tana.
Yeah. And my mommy moment comes with a testimony, because God is real. Yes. Because, y'all see, I be coming with some outbursts. Intense. It's a lot that be going on. And I've been without my meds. I've been without my meds for a week and a half. It's I'll let y'all know what the fuck happened with that. But Monday, going through a certain process with a blended family, and specifically the older kids with Irie. Okay. They put them on the back burner, pretty much. And the stuff that was going on lately with the older kids, I just pretty much, it's so much. Anyways, let me fast forward. Basically got to a point where me and my boyfriend almost broke up because of how I wanted to protect my son with the older kids. Yeah, y'all gotta know that. I know, y'all don't know. Anyways, so it led me to have an outburst that I dragged all the kids in. I ended up, this is very loaded, so there's a lot of mommy moments in this little period. Yeah. But I blew up on everybody. My boyfriend, I didn't really blow up on the kids, but they seemed like, y'all thought earlier me yelling at my baby daddy was intense. The type of crazy that can happen, it was intense. But at that moment, I was raging. Like, it's a different whatever. Mm-hmm. When I calmed down, though, when I released, I felt so much better. But then my mind started clearing. I ended up having to talk with my boyfriend, and, we continue whatever. But I wanted to make sure in the morning I apologized separately with each kid. Mm-hmm. I apologized with Emery first. She was just trying to make sure we wasn't moving, so she was good. She wasn't worried. I apologized to Irie. And every time I apologized to them, I asked them, do you accept my apology? They said yes. Apologized to Aiden. And specifically, it was centered around Aiden. There's a lot of parts. One thing for sure that really kind of sparked all of this was Irie started to become a gamer. Okay. But he does not have his own system. Emery has her own stuff, her own Xbox, her own phone, her own iPad, this, that, and the third. Aiden has his own Xbox, his own Nintendo Switch, his own phone, his own stuff. Irie has to share it with everybody. Okay. So during that time, it was like, I'm trying to make him feel good. Like, I ended up getting him his own snacks. And, oh, shit, I'm bouncing around. Sorry. So when it comes to this gamer situation, Irie, he does what he is supposed to do as far as asking the parents, can I play on Aiden's Xbox? Yeah. So there was a moment that hurt my feelings, but there was a moment where it eventually got to the point Aiden did not want Irie on his Xbox because it's his type of thing. When that particularly happened, I'm the type of person, like, your stuff is your stuff, but you gotta know when to share, and you gotta know when to not be selfish and XYZ. And then also there's a level of, in my parenting, where it cringes me when I sense selfishness. So I would have checked Emery I do check Emery when she's being selfish and this, and I can force Emery. He's 5 years old. You better let your brother play on the game. But I couldn't with Aiden because that's not my child. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of intricacies happening that led to me and my boyfriend about to break up. So when the next day came, in my head I'm like, oh, I'm gonna wait till my taxes come so I can get him an Xbox. Mm-hmm. It's hard to wait because, again, I'm an impulsive person. Yeah. So when I'm trying to do something to make sure my baby is loved or whatever, I would spend my check and not worry about shit. Right. But I had to, I have to be a responsible adult. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, okay, you got to be patient on or whatever. Next thing I know, my baby daddy texts me, what you doing today or tomorrow? Like, well, after 8, I'm not doing after Emery's track practice, I'm not doing anything. He was like, well, we can go get the Xbox for Irie. Okay. Right. God. That's why I said God is. That is why I said God is real. Because I didn't. My baby dad didn't even know what the fuck was happening with my boyfriend or that situation. And mind you, I told my baby daddy like months ago, Irie needs a game system of his own. So And that aspect, I'm like, God must have wanted to take me out of that situation or whatnot.
Yeah.
Because I immediately was like, let's go to the store right when I get off at 5, you know.
Yeah.
So we hurried up. I picked up my baby daddy, me, him, and Irene went to Best Buy. Irene got to look, you know, point out his Xbox. He got to get his controller.
My son need Xbox.
He got to get his controller and then take it home. I already was talking to my boyfriend about, hell, I got an extra TV. We could put these 2 TVs in the room. One on this side, the other one on this side.
Yeah.
We hooked it. Oh, so my boyfriend and Aiden was excited too. But we hooked up that place. That I said, Xbox, brand new Xbox. And I even recorded it. That's what I sent y'all. Mm-hmm. His reaction to that was, I got an Xbox. And I was like, how you feeling, Ari? He said, great. And I'm just like, yes, baby. This is yours. This is yours. This is yours. And he's obsessed with it now. I can't get him to stop. But for me, I don't really know how it's a mommy moment, but it's just like a testimony to God and how I just jumped on it immediately. No questions asked. No this, no that. Mm-hmm. Like, this is me coming from my baby to feel what he probably been feeling since he's been young. Mm-hmm. So,
okay.
So I'm on moment.
Toast to that. I look a little gone, but we go for it. I don't need drink no more. This pretty birdie got me lifted. That's good. That's good. It's a mommy moment because you advocated for your child and God made a way.
Yeah.
For you to make a way for your baby.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
All right. This was a good one, y'all.
This was.
I love a good therapeutic episode.
Yes.
Right. And I hope you guys feel the release as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Mommy First podcast.
Or your mommy first.
And a baddie immediately after.
Bye.
These women fine about their business, how y'all fuck them over. And wonder why you saved in contacts as sperm donor. They hard on you to fuck niggas, they can't feel a thing. He blowing up her phone like a bitch, she just watching rain.